with a safety briefing in the event that we have an emergency. We are located, of course, at 100 West Anderson Street at the Commission Chambers on the 7th floor. We have exits throughout the building, here at the front, center, and the back. If we need to evacuate the building, we will exit the nearest door and proceed to the stairwell to the left or right of the commission room. Our meeting place will be the surface parking lot under the 408, which is just south of the building. We have an AED, a first aid fire extinguisher kits. They are located within the building and within this room just behind me. We also have 911 primary and backup designated prior to each meeting, which will be myself and Lachelle Non-Statum. The security team will assist with directing emergency responders into the building and up to the 7th floor in the need, should there be an emergency that we do not anticipate. So hopefully we'll have a good meeting and we look forward to the conclusion.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I always appreciate the and security protocol across the utility industry. It was something I admired when I was not affiliated at all with utilities. I thought it was fantastic. All right. I'd also like to invite now Dale Ramirez to come forward and lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Let me tell you a little bit about Dale. He served in the Air Force for 20 years, achieving the rank of Technical Sergeant. He's worked at OUC for 3 years. His current title is the Business Support Specialist. Please stand and join for the Pledge of Allegiance. We probably moved way too fast. Is he out in the hallway? Maybe this way? Oh, that's fine. Yeah, we moved way too fast. We moved way too fast for you. Sorry, I should have warned you about this.
Oh, that's no problem.
We're ready for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. All right, the time is now look at that, it's 2:02. We moved very fast, and I call the November 7, 2023 meeting to order. Mayor Dyer is not in attendance today. He's got some other things he has to do, but I'd like to acknowledge that we have a quorum present this afternoon. Our agenda item is the consideration of the September 12th, 2023 Commission meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to waive the reading of the minutes and adopt them as published.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you, guys. Is there any discussion at all? No? All right. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Motion passes. Let's move to awards. Ms. Aviles, will you please provide the first service award? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
President Gross, Clint. Good afternoon. I'm asking Astrid Washington to please come up and join me and her parents, Johnny and Wendell Barnes. Astrid is receiving her 25-year service award today. Thank you for being here. Thank you both for being here as well. We're happy to see you again. Our manager of process improvement, and she's also currently on a stretch assignment for us as our interim manager of large customer accounts. So she's providing oversight to our key accounts and our mid-size representatives. Thank you, Astrid. That's a big job, but we know you can do it and have every confidence in you. So Astrid, as I mentioned, is here with her parents, but Astrid also has her lovely fashionable doggie, Bella Luce, who's a big part of her life, and I certainly must mention here today. When she was recognized for her 20-year service award, we took time to talk about her growth and progression here at OUC. And so today we want to give you some highlights over the past 5 years, what Astrid has been up to since then. So since then, she has obtained her Six Sigma Green Belt certification, and a few members of her team have as well. She has expanded the types of process reviews completed by her team. Those are end-to-end processes going outside of just the customer experience team, including other areas in our company, such as our construction group and our engineering teams in her process reviews and many others. Last fiscal year, her team completed 13 end-to-end process reviews, and many of them led by Astrid herself. Most recently, she was our business process lead on the CCMB and MDM technical upgrade project. She's also very, very active in the community. Astrid considers herself the librarian for the OUC Little Libraries around our 3805 community. There are 9 libraries for children that she replenishes on a regular basis with help from 2 of her teammates that recently have started this with her. To do so, Astrid has to review the books that are donated from the Adult Literacy League to make sure they are age appropriate and collects books from anyone here willing to donate. Right? She wanted to make sure I stress that. Anyone willing to donate. Astrid she's also part of the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. She is the current vice president of one of the sorority's local chapters, Nu Iota Omega, with 120 members. In this role, she's responsible for 6 different community programs, the largest being the Childhood Hunger Initiative, and it's also one of her favorite projects because they provide power packs to children at Lockhart Elementary. These power packs include meals for the children to get through the weekend or during holidays. And they provide meals to over 100 students per week at the school. So it's fantastic, the impact you have on the community. And last but not least, Astrid serves as an usher at her church at St. Mark AME. So Astrid is well known around the company for her fashion sense, but she is also known for getting stuff done. And we certainly appreciate that, Astrid. She's very respected by her staff, her peers, and the leadership team as well, certainly by me, Astrid. Thank you, Astrid, for your 25 years of service, and we look forward to the next 5, 10, 15, however many more you want to give us, Astrid. Thank you very much.
Ms. Brene. Where's Mike?
Good afternoon. Oh, I have to keep it really close. Good afternoon, Commissioners, President Gross, Clint. Yes, I'm doing a poem. So, Mike, come on up.
Next victim.
I know. Mike Hollingshead. Mike is our Director of Payment and Treasury Services. He's been with us 25 years. So, you've reached a milestone in your career. 25 years spent climbing the Treasury tiers. Joining OUC from Lockheed Martin, Frankie Goebel was lucky to have roped you into Starton. Yes, this is a name from the past and one that is likely unknown to the commissioners, but for you and I, demonstrates how long our partnership has grown. In fact, I would go one step further to say, together with over 80 years of service on our side, the Financial and Support Services Gang of 5 continues to deliver and thrive, and always makes me beam with pride. Now, let me not wander astray and get back to you before I personally start to boo-hoo. Let me first start with your leadership of the payroll and accounts payable teams. Daily back office work that keeps coming in streams. With weekly payroll and daily supplier payments turning, the production wheel never stops churning. But thankfully your commitment shines through and OUC's reputation remains steadfast and true. But this is only half of your role, so please indulge me a little longer while I extol, because the numbers I will share will certainly be worth the time. In 2000, when you were a young analyst, OUC's net interest expense was an impressive 3.7%, and that's no jest. But fast forward to today, and the number is now 1.9%. I would say that almost 50% reduction is mighty fine. While you would say this is not all you, and the market interest rate decline helped drive the downward line, I would say not so quick. You took the cues and used your tools, applying prudence and oversight to deliver savings for more than a fortnight. So, Fritz is going to show you a little slide so you can see the real impact of what Mike has delivered over his tenure. Now, while you can see the trend, let me take another moment and recognize what this line really means, and that is tens of millions of dollars year after year for a very long time. But there's more to you than just being Director of Treasury Services. Over these last 25 years, you have proudly raised two daughters that you really love. You have reignited your passion as an avid motorcycle rider, and at golf, you're still working to control your driver. And all this to say a big thanks to you on behalf of myself and OUC. Congratulations on 25 years.
Oh, very nice. All right, that was a lot of fun. Thank you both for your long tenures here. All right, committee recognitions and employee recognitions. Ms. Ferroni, would you please like to present the first community recognition?
Yes, happily so. So, is it coming up? There we go. It's nice to see you, President Gross, Commissioners, Clint. Today, I'm happily presenting Customer Service Appreciation Week, which we celebrated with customer service organizations, the utility industry, across the nation, the week of October 9th through the 13th. OUC's customer service team, that includes our customer billing and collections, customer experience, large customer accounts, outage management, sales and sustainability, residential accounts, commercial accounts, and sustainability and service planning. All of those are led by Luz Aviles, our Vice President of Customer Experience and Sales. So let me show you a couple of pictures here of our team. Oops, too far. There we go. So this is just some of our team that was celebrating that week. We had a variety of things going on, but on this particular day, everybody got a new OUC polo in a very stylish maroon color. And we took some group photos by departments out in front of Reliable Plaza and at Gardenia. Had a really terrific time. I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about what this team does and how OUC and our customers benefit from them. You can see a whole lot of numbers up here, but let me just highlight a few things. So this team handles hundreds of thousands of contacts from our customers every year via phone, online, email, in person.
The billing team processes millions of bills with an accuracy rate of 99.96%. Yes, 99.96%. You think those people don't care. They care very much what they do. The auditors conduct more than 3,000 home energy and water audits, of course, resulting in energy and water conservation and bill savings for those customers. Our development services team has sent 872 cost letters to commercial customers that account for more than $24 million in value. In the background of all of this, we have a business process improvement team and training team who ensures that our entire customer service team has the best processes, and the team members know what to do and when to do it. Astrid, in fact, leads that team, who we just recognized. And in fact, 533 trainees benefited from online and multimedia training across 28 sessions this year. In addition to that, 26 instructor-led in-person training. So together, these teams are making a tremendous impact to our community. Again, this is just a sample of the things that they do. And the things that they do, how they impact OUC is our key KPIs, which you all look at, things like our financial KPIs and goals, our revenue KPIs and goals, our energy and water conservation goals, and even the awards that we get from organizations like J.D. Power and Escalent. This team is working on all of that, often in the background. Speaking of awards, I do want to highlight a recent one that this team just achieved. This is a recognition from our largest customers, so think GOA, think Universal, but OUC earned the top spot in the eSource 2023 Business Customer Satisfaction Survey among municipal and investor-owned utilities. So eSource, if you're not familiar with it, it's a utility research and consulting firm. They conduct market research for this annual business customer satisfaction study to provide utilities with direct feedback from large business customers from a variety of industries. So all the industries that you would expect that we have here locally, plus of course a variety of others. But the study scores overall satisfaction levels and identifies areas of improvement for our account representatives, which of course we use every year. OUC ranked #1 with a score of 9.5 out of 10 for overall customer satisfaction and perceived value, earning top remarks in reliability, trustworthiness, and effective emergency communications. Recognition is attributed to our key accounts team, who manages our relationships, as I mentioned, with Central Florida's largest business customers. OUC's key account team earned the highest scores in 5 out of the 7 attributes. WEC Energy Group, based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, ranked 2nd in the survey with 9.3, followed by Florida Power and Light in 3rd place with a score of 8.93. We're sure they're watching, looking at that. Over 600 large business customers participated in this 15th edition. So we're very excited about that. So a few more of happy faces of our customer service week, just to highlight a few things, the fun things that we did with this very deserving team. They enjoyed all kinds of special activities and games at break times, meals even, including a catered breakfast and lunch, which was served to them by their leadership team. They also participated in raffles with prizes like Amazon gift cards. They had themed days that included supporting breast cancer awareness, OUC Spirit, and so much more. So as you can tell, our customer service group goes above and beyond serving our customers every day. We couldn't be more proud to celebrate them, and we would like to celebrate them one more time in this room. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you so much for that. All right, Ms. Osani. Here we go.
Good afternoon, President Gross, Commissioners, Clint. I am here today to tell you who our top proud volunteers are for 2023. So as a little bit of a reminder, the Proud Volunteer Program recognizes the many employees who provide their skills, time, and dedication to various nonprofit organizations throughout Central Florida. In 2023, 152 OUC employees donated 4,352 hours. That's at least what they reported. It's probably higher than that. By comparison, in 2022, 98 employees donated volunteer time. That means we saw a 55% increase in employee participation over last year. This volunteer service included more than 100 community organizations, including OUC volunteer-led events that we have every quarter, with United Against Poverty, Second Harvest Food Bank, and Clean the World, to name just a few. This is a huge accomplishment and shows how important it is to our employees to connect to our community, which is also one of our strategic pillars. Employees, customer, and community. So now it's time to recognize the top 3 volunteers. Let's get excited. I would like to bring up Cecil Schaefer. He's a project engineer in the AMI metering group. He came in 3rd place this year. We've got a slide that has a photo. There it is. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate it. This year, you volunteered on the board of directors with the Ventura Country Club Homeowners Association. As part of that, you are a newly elected board member this year, is my understanding, and you focus on refreshing resources, which resulted in a more cohesive team. Is it me on the mic? It's the mic? Okay. He is also working to make covenant enforcement fair and equitable across all areas of the community, while also improving safety, which is our first value, make safety first. In addition to his work on the board, Cecil serves on the association safety committee, finance committee, and an additional ad hoc committee focused on overall community improvement that includes multi-year projects. Impressive. This is the first year of a 3-year term Cecil will serve on the board. As part of furthering his education with association bylaws and rules, you attended a Florida government certificate class hosted by Commissioner Tony Ortiz. Thank you, Cecil, for your commitment to our community. I'd like to give you a plaque and invite President Gross, Clint up to take a photo with you.
I was saying, this has to be the hardest way to earn volunteer hours. For a million years, I would not do it. Well done, really well done. Oh, I mean, I get another. Oh, I think it's totally.
Thank you again, Cecil. It's great to have you here. Thanks for coming to Reliable. Next, this man has been here before. I think every year I've had the honor of presenting. Lawrence has been here.
Yeah.
Lawrence Strawn is manager of corporate analytics and planning, who served 471 hours this year. He is starting his 7th year as a Scoutmaster of Boy Scout Troop 23, which meets weekly at Grace Covenant Presbyterian Church. The troop typically camps 8 weekends a year, attends a week-long summer camp, participates in Scouting for Food, which is the nation's largest food drive in the country. I'll actually be leaving a bag on my porch this weekend, and other service projects. This year, you can see in a photo up on the screen, Tom Gross, who is a 33-year OUC employee and neighbor of one of the scouts, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. In June, the scout, who's his neighbor, and his family noticed that Tom had a large pallet of mulch delivered, and they asked if the troop could help lay out the mulch and do some weeding. Lawrence says that this was one of his proudest moments as a scout leader, if not the most, to see them cheerfully working together to help their neighbor. Only one of the scouts, the neighbor, actually knew Tom, but you can see how many young people and their families showed up to help that day. They were committed to helping somebody that they knew, which really shows the values and the commitment of leaders like Lawrence, who help them live them every day. As many people here know, but you may not know, Commissioners, Tom did lose his battle with cancer in September. So to know that an extension of OUC's volunteer program was able to help Tom at that time is deeply impactful to all of us here at OUC and to Tom's family. So thank you so much, Lawrence. We have a plaque for you. We're so glad you were able to do that this year. I'm trying something new with these cards, and I'm not sure it's working for me. So try again next time. Hi, Kevin. Okay, and here in first place is Kevin Cooper, who is a lead technician. Kevin is an assistant scoutmaster for Troop 507 in Lake Mary. You've also been recognized before, but I think this is your first time here at Commission being recognized, so thank you for being here today. You are a merit badge counselor for 30 different merit badges, and this past year you assisted over 100 scouts with obtaining their badge. This year was a busy year for Troop 507. They went to Philmont Scout Ranch in New Mexico. During that adventure, 3 Scoutmasters and 5 Scouts hiked 50+ miles over 7 days, carrying all of their gear and food on their back. The hiking trail ranged in elevation from 5,280 feet to the peak of Baldy Mountain at 12,441 feet. To prepare for the trip, Kevin trained by hiking over 500 miles in the past year. Kevin has also participated in the Eagle Board of Review, where he assists with interviewing, approving, and discussing Eagle projects with the Scouts who are pursuing this prestigious award. The troop is now preparing for next year's adventure that will be a combination of hiking and canoeing. 60 miles of hiking and canoeing? 30 and 30, hiking and canoeing. Thank you, Kevin, so much for your commitment to helping build strong futures for members of our Scouts and our community and being a proud example of being connected to the community.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so terrific. That's like a day and a half of work every week. I just had to do my quick calculation. Holy cow, it's a lot of volunteer work. Thank you all. I think that's fantastic. All right, let's move into now the affirmative actions, affirmative items if we could. Mr. Bullock, before we consider the items, do we have any requests from the public to speak on any of the items?
We do not.
We do not. All right. Do you have any comments or presentations you'd like to make?
Yes. President Gross, I do have one item I would like to highlight for the board here today. 8:20, I'd like to ask Mike come up. He's going to start us off, and then Gerardo is going to be a tag team effort. But we're talking about on this agenda item, the Enterprise Data Analytics Platform Foundation. I think it's extremely important as we talk about data moving forward and having data from numerous use cases, and the team's going to highlight a few, but making sure we have the right foundation in place to support the data is really this project that Mike's going to talk about. It's really foundational to where we need to go. So I thought it was worth highlighting. I'll let Mike and Gerardo give you more overview of this agenda item. So Mike?
Sounds good. Good afternoon, President Gross, Commissioners, Clint. As Clint mentioned, today we'll talk about our Enterprise Data Analytics Platform, otherwise known as EDAP Foundation projects, a mouthful. I'm going to team up today with Gerardo Laborda, who's our Director of Digital Technology on the infrastructure side, to talk to you about this project. So, all right. As you all know, data is integral to pretty much everything we do in our business, right? Whether it's data collection, data reporting, data analysis, right? It really helps to drive, done right, helps to drive key insights and better decisions, more efficiency in our business, right? So, and it aligns with our vision, right? If you think about being an innovative solutions leader and the partner of choice, it's very well aligned, right? Data drives better decisions around innovation, whether it's renewables, everything we're thinking about in that area, EV charging, more efficient operations, and more optionality for our customers, right, as we go out in that respect as well. In terms of our strategy, Connected 2025, it's very well aligned, strongly aligned with that. So if you look at some of the key drivers that we identified, whether it's grid resiliency, whether it's the innovation side, right? Again, around renewables, EV, solar, hydrogen, et cetera, and regulatory complexity continue to increase, right? Those all align. And as you think about our three pillars, customer, employee, community, the grid is changing, right? We're in a very disruptive time with the grid, right? And that's a great opportunity, right? But we know that it's going to bring other challenges, right? It's a much more dynamic grid. We're going to have to make adjustments much more often. So data is going to help drive that. We're going to move from reactive to proactive to eventually predictive, right? In terms of how we offset through with solar, EV charging, standard energy, et cetera. So it's very important as we adapt to rapidly changing customer needs. Efficient access to data, right, for our employees, always important, right? Whether you think about employee data, operational, project data, et cetera, we always want that data to really help, again, drive better decisions. And obviously community, think about the turbulence we've had weather-wise in recent years, right? Everything from climate mapping to climate modeling, right, as we think forward. CO2 emissions reduction, which is one of our North Stars, right, carbon neutrality by 2050. The data we need to assess and then make some of those decisions, right, that we need to make as a business to get towards that goal are absolutely impactful. And then regulatory requirements continue to increase. We want to be able to provide the right data at the right time. So all these align, right, to our data-driven approach in terms of where we want to get to as an enterprise. Now, I'd love to say the path to a data-driven culture is linear, but it's not. It's a very circuitous path. And you learn as you go, right? You have to start with really assessing what you have. We have a lot of disparate data sources. We have to set what objectives we want to have. So what are the needs of the business? Not just push on people, but get the pull of the business, customer side, the operational side, et cetera. And then you collect and you collaboratively work together to say, okay, what do we want to do with that data? How do we transform it into something that's useful? How do we protect it? So cybersecurity is absolutely vital in that. And then ultimately, how do we analyze it and use it for better decisions, better, to drive our business forward? So it's a multi-step journey. Really requires some agility. So you're gonna learn and you're gonna have to pivot. You're gonna learn and you're gonna pivot as you go, right? And if you look at it holistically as a commission right now, we're probably somewhere between steps 3 and 4. We've collected a lot of our data. We're collaborating as a business. We're talking to all the different departments and we're trying to understand what are the biggest needs. There are other aspects of the business such as meter data, Eddie Fee, Don Fry, and others that were really the great proof point behind this. To really kind of were the stimulus to go enterprise-wide. We're already in steps 7 and 8, right? We're using that data every day, and there are other aspects, other parts of the business, probably in 1 and 2. So as a whole, we're in the middle of our journey, right? But it requires collaboration across multiple teams, and that transformation requires both people, process, technology, right? It's our organizational capability. Do we have the right people in place to do that? Would we upskilled? The processes, do we have the right governance in place, right? In terms of how we access and utilize our data. And then the technology overlays that, right? Our applications, infrastructure, et cetera. So all of those are required. You can't just do one. You have to do all 3 to be effective and lead to success. So with that, I want to hand it off to Gerardo. He's going to provide a lot more detail around our ongoing EDAP journey.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, President Gross, Commissioners Clint. So Mike was explaining as why we're doing this and what are we trying to accomplish. My job is to make it happen. And so I want to describe here a little bit of the path we've been through. As Mike mentioned, back in 2019, we, following the lead of the metering group, we made a selection of tools and business partners to help us through this journey. And that has been what we call now the MDP. Later in the years, we decided to go beyond just one group of the commission to let's go enterprise-wide. And that's why we did the proof of concept where emerging technologies was brought in and we started selecting certain areas, certain data elements that we wanted to try, see how that works and try different options, a little bit different what MDP was doing. And now we arrived to today where we are like, okay, we really proved that this is a technology, a set of technologies that actually work. We can expand this enterprise-wide, and that's where we want to enhance this foundation, and this is what we have there. Some of the things we have already in place, as you can see there, is we have the weather data available, so we are able to start forecasting a little bit of the solar impact on the load and how we are managing that. And there are a few others, as you can see. So we get to a point now where we say, okay, we want to have more data sources. We want to expand this platform, and we recognize it's very important to set a good foundation, right? So we want to cover in the foundation things related to our, for instance, our employees. So we need to have teams that are able to support it. So they need to be upskilled. They need to be ready to have it. We need to learn these technologies and provide an even better service, as well as the tools, right? The technology part is important as well. So concentrating on the ask today, right? Looking at what do we have in front of us right now. As I said, we are working about the EDAP Foundation, and that is very key items like establishing the governance and how access data, how we make sure that only the need to know is enforced and we don't start having leaks anywhere. As Mike mentioned, the cybersecurity component is important, so we want to make sure we have that in place as well. So I already mentioned the team structure to support it, and of course the tools, right? It's setting up a good framework that we can all leverage. And one of the things we did since the beginning of 2023 was going across the commission and talking to all the areas in the commission and gathering from each group what is their need. It's not that because I want to have a great platform and I want to put that in my resume, right? So it's something we need to build for the commission to use so we can serve our customers better, we can serve our community better, we can give better tools to our employees to do their jobs every day. And that's what we are driving, and that's where we have prioritized certain areas like finance, like power marketing, the water group, making sure that we are within our cap limits and have a way to control that on a frequent basis. Customer 360, we all want to serve our customers better. I mean, I want to be able to provide Luz with better tools so we can serve our customers better. And of course, look for new marketing new products that we can offer to our community and our customers. Just to give you an idea of the technology that is behind this, I don't want to test you on what's in here, but starting from the left side, we have a list of data sources. There are more than this that we are looking into bringing into the platform. The platform is cloud-based, leverage AWS with certain other technologies that we have in there. That data gets stored in there, gets modeled to make the use easier, so we can have the consumption on the other side with, again, very modern tools that we can enable people to start to have access in this data, so we can enable better decision maker. The data is centralized, is co-located all in one place, and it makes it easier for us to work with it. And the recommended action is commission approval of change request number 1 to capital expenditure estimate in the amount of $2,011,640 for the implementation services for the Enterprise Data Analytics Platform Foundation project. That's really a mouthful. Increasing the total project cost to $2,110,620. Commission approval of an OUC initiated scope change and conforming change order number 1 to Kiros USA Inc. in the amount of $1,461,647 for implementation services and project software licenses, increasing the total purchase order amount to $1,560,627. Now we're open to questions if you have any.
I mean, I just have a question for my own understanding.
Yes.
Where do like the metrics for like reliability, safety and SAIDI and all those things, I mean, is that completely separate from this work here in integrating data sources and systems, or is that integrated somehow in here?
So today they are separated. The goal is to get those up here as well.
Okay.
We are not going to resolve that in our first step.
Okay.
So this
That's
is one thing I forgot to mention. This is a journey. So it's a multi-step journey. We are not resolving that problem in this first step.
Okay.
This is more building the foundation, but eventually will come out of here. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably, we just showed a few today. It's probably 40 or 50 sources of data that we
Okay.
utilize today. It is a multi-step journey to bring and integrate all of that, right? So we're starting with some, and then over the next few years, you'll see a lot more of that collated and centralized.
I mean, I appreciate how complicated this is. I know I was talking to Attila the other day about just even integrating or overlaying information about like even reliability metrics with even low-income communities. Do we know we're doing the best possible job and a fair
Absolutely.
job? And I'm just like, I think the answer to me was that this is really hard to do. We don't really have a way, it's very difficult for utilities to measure this kind of stuff. It would be great if we had a vision of that in the
That's
future.
the opportunity, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and if I may expand on that, I went quickly, but one of the data sources is actually a mapping source, so we should be able to start mapping better and overlaying as you were
I think
mentioning.
mapping is like the key to almost everything right now. Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Everyone understands a map. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Questions?
Oh, I'm good.
Comments?
All right.
Commissioner, I don't have any other agenda items to highlight unless you have any questions for me.
I don't, anyone else, guys? Any questions or anything else about affirmative items? So I will ask just one more time, do we have anyone from the public that wants to comment on the affirmative items?
We do not.
No one? All right, fine. Is there a motion then to approve affirmative items A1 through A30?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed, none, therefore the motion passes. Thank you all. All right, let's move into new business. Let me cover just a paragraph here about the commissioner nomination. This is going to be new business item number 1, the commissioner nomination. The City of Orlando Nominating Board has submitted 3 candidates for consideration to fill the position to be vacated by our beloved Cesar Calvet, whose term ends on December 31st of this year, 2023. OUC Council has confirmed that all 3 candidates qualify under OUC's charter and state law to sit as an OUC commissioner. Each commissioner was provided with the slate of 3 candidates from the city's nominating committee and has had the opportunity to review the qualifications of each candidate. The board now needs to either vote to recommend one of the candidates for approval in confirmation by the city council, or to reject all 3 candidates and request a new slate of candidates. Before I ask for a motion, is there any discussion on this item?
Discussion before or after, or during is okay, right?
Oh, sure. I can do that. We can take a motion and,
Sure. I'll make a motion. And before I do, I guess I will have some discussion. So thank you. I would just like to say that I appreciate staff at the city, staff at OUC for organizing this. It's not always the easiest thing to do. I would like to point out that I did have very productive conversations with each of the nominees and enjoyed getting some I know well, some I didn't know, but enjoyed understanding each of their backgrounds and professional careers. I would also say that, believe it or not, I was nominated once before and didn't get on, so waited 8 or 10 or 12 more years and finally took another stab at it. Although we can't take all 3, we can only take one. Clearly, they were all very qualified. They all had unique perspectives. But I would like to nominate Linda Gonzalez, somebody who I've known probably for 15, 20 years, to succeed Commissioner Calvet as a commissioner on this board, and that her name be submitted for consideration as the commission's nominee to the City Council, Orlando City Council, for confirmation to serve a 4-year term effective January 1, 2024. Ms. Gonzalez meets the eligibility requirements to serve on this board and qualifies to serve for an initial term of 4 years under the OUC charter.
all right, so we have a motion. Any discussion? Second? Any discussion?
Yeah, let me just add that I did not interview the 3 candidates because I know all 3 for many years. I worked in different capacities with the 3 of them. So like I said, I have been involved with all three in different capacities, in business and civic. So like I said, yeah, I always say that the nominating board always very effective. I mean, as the senior person here, and I've seen all the, the new commissions that have come, they have always found, based on their location, they have done a very good job in nominating persons for the board.
I agree. All right.
I would just like the record to show that once you read the date that Caesar's last day, his smile went this big. Just wanted the record to know that.
Very good, very good. All right, I think the motion stands. We have a second. Let's take a vote. Is all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Thank you. Motion passes. All right, thank you guys very much. I know that takes time, and I really appreciate everyone's attention to those interviews. Thank you. All right, I think we're ready to move on to presentations. Audit Finance Committee report. Commissioner Mills, will you please provide the Audit Finance Committee report?
Yes. The Audit Finance Committee meeting was held on October 30th, 2023, and the committee was provided with a legal update, noting legal activities were slightly elevated as a result of the continuing efforts to resolve some of our post-pandemic backlogs. The committee also reviewed the commission-approved land purchase and sales agreement, good faith deposits action taken in August 2021, and we also approved management's recommendation for minor revisions to the guidance policies that enhance our flexibility. Then the committee reviewed and approved management's recommendation to reclassify regulatory credits from previously recognized deferred gains on sale and electric base rate reserves, and to establish a path to a clean energy reserve. The committee also reviewed and approved investment policy changes supporting the implementation of the path to clean energy and path to alternative water sources in alignment with our 5-year capital plan. The committee was provided with an update of additional investment policy changes, and we then approved management's recommendation to increase the core fund target level from $275 million to $300 million. The committee was provided with an update of the internal audit annual risk assessment, and we approved the 2024 audit plan. The committee was provided with an update of the pension and other post-employment benefits audit. And hybrid medical plan changes were also presented to the committee and approved. And we approved management's recommendations related to corrections and adjustments in these plans. And then finally, the committee reviewed quarterly financial updates, which were provided for the Energy Risk Committee meeting, the internal audit, and financial services. And then there were no other additional comment by the committee. So now the committee, having reviewed, would like to recommend the following actions be presented for our commission approval at this meeting. The committee recommends approval of the proposed procurement policy, including changes designed to bolster federal grant compliance requirements and refine strategic sourcing guidance. The committee further recommends approval of deferred emergency response expenses for Hurricane Idella in the amount of $270,000 pending federal emergency management project approval. The committee recommends approval of a regulatory action to systematically recognize estimated closure and post-closure landfill costs. This would be spread over a 10-year period beginning in fiscal year 2023. And then finally, our final recommendation is approval of a regulatory action to defer excess income before contributions of up to $5 million to the electric base rate reserve fund. This will offset future price increases and advance the path to clean energy. With those recommendations, we adjourn.
All right, thank you very much for that, Commissioner Mills. All right, so before we vote on these regulatory actions, that was a very packed meeting that you just reviewed. I'd like to ask if there are any members of the public who wish to comment on and address the commission on any of these Audit Finance Committee recommendations.
There are none.
None, thank you. All right, so we're going to have to take these one at a time, folks. Number 1A, that's the procurement policy update. Is there a motion to approve the procurement policy?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, let's take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? No. Motion passes. Thank you. 1B, is there a motion to approve the deferral of up to $5 million of wholesale non-fuel energy revenues to the electric base rate reserve fund to offset future price increases and the advancement of the path to clean energy?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Thank you. Is there any discussion? No? We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. All right, 1C. Is there a motion to approve the deferral of $270,000 of Hurricane Idalia emergency response and hurricane preparedness costs incurred in fiscal year 2023, consistent with the rate-making model and the commission-approved operating budget? We have a motion and a second. Thank you. Any discussion? Let's take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes. And then the last item, is there a motion to approve the deferral of $34.1 million of closure and post-closure landfill costs for a 10-year period beginning in 2023 with accretion expenses? Is that what the word is?
Yes.
I actually didn't see that before. With accretion expenses recognized through 2032. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion? And we have a second, thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, let's take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All right, no one opposed. Motion passes. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
All right, over to you, Ms. Brene. Will you present the financial report, please?
Sure, good afternoon again, and thank you. That meeting was definitely packed with a lot of information. And so the team is working diligently to close the fiscal year. We close our fiscal year on September 30th. We do not yet have October results, but here are the preliminary results from September 30th. You heard the regulatory action. We will be deferring about $4 million to base reserves. But want to just walk through the lines here. On the operating revenue line, we are about $8.7 million favorable to budget. Again, there was a $4 million reduction in there. We offset wholesale revenues, which were higher than budget. That's where we take that regulatory action off the revenue line. And then I also want to remind the commissioners, and well, I don't have to remind Clint, he knows this, that we took an action last October to defer $25 million and help offset the fuel price increase. So we mitigated a portion of that rise in the fuel price, and we would reduce base revenues. That was $25 million. So when you look at electric retail energy revenues, they look like they're behind budget, but again, that includes $25 million that we carved out of the budget. So there's a good reason for that. And then you can see chilled water was very favorable. We really had, we started the GOA project a little earlier than we anticipated in the budget, and the revenues have been stronger from warmer weather, and just like on the retail side, retail energy side. On the operating expense side, we are unfavorable to budget. That is a combination of inflation, supply chain risk, and acceleration of some depreciation charges, and a little bit of that accretion that you just approved. We approved it in 2023. It's another word for depreciation, but you know, when you're talking about landfills and decommissioning, they like to be a little different. And so net non-operating expenses were actually a little lower, which is a good sign. Again, another nod of the hat to Mike and the team. We really were able to leverage higher interest earnings. Again, the market moved, and so Mike would always say to me, you know, some of this is because the market moves, but market moves and we make the right decision. So a little more favorable impact to OUC. But the bottom line is right in line. Income before contributions is exactly where we said would be in budget. That is aligned with our rate making design to be in line with budget. So happy to answer any questions.
We know the $4 million was a surprise.
Yes. Yes.
Right? I mean, one of those. When you said preliminary, of course, we're ahead. Foresee anything that would turn the other way?
No, we do meet with Ernst & Young, our external auditors. We meet with them beginning in July. We really talk through some of the major issues that we've had in the year and really work through some of those more complex topics. So we don't foresee anything, but sometimes things show up in accounts payable that we didn't realize. And so while we do send out notifications commission-wide asking for people to accrue their expenses and send us invoices, sometimes we get a surprise. But right now, up until this date, we do not have any. So I think we'll come in on that target.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions?
No, I'm good.
I am too. Thank you.
Thank you. No poem here either.
Yeah, right. All right, Mr. Browder, do you have any legal issues to report today? All right, thank you. Mr. Bullock, do we have any members of the public or have requested to address the board at all?
No, ma'am, we do not.
All right, very good. So let's move on with the general manager's comments.
Great, thank you, President Gross. I do have one item I'd like to highlight with the board here today. Back in early October, the Sierra Club released its third report analyzing the future energy plans for 77 utilities nationally, which includes OUC. Now, the report, I quote, is called The Dirty Truth, and they really examine utilities' plans and progress over the next decade, things that they've received information from the Electric Integrated Resource Plan, regulatory filings, other announcements that the utilities have made. So the utility scores are really based on their plans moving forward. I'm proud to say OUC has ranked or received a B. That's what the letter grade we've received the last 2 times. So it's our 3rd year in a row of receiving the B. There are 2 utilities in the Southeast that have received a B. I will tell you that our recent score of a 65 is more than twice as strong as the national utility average, which is now a 31. That number is up. But the utility national average for that 77 is a 31. And again, OUC is sitting at a 65. This just clearly is a continuous commitment of our 2050 goal, but specifically the 2030 goal in which we're trying to achieve in reducing CO2 emissions by 50%. I will highlight just some exciting projects for next year, just briefly. I won't lay out the whole plan, but early in the year, next year, we'll talk a little bit more about a 4 megawatt energy storage project at St. Cloud. The project has started and is underway. But when the project's completed, perhaps in the January meeting or maybe the March meeting, we'll come back and highlight it. I also want to highlight probably around summertime, we will be completing the 2 megawatt floating solar project. This will be our 3rd, but 2 megawatt floating solar project. When we finish it, unless something else comes online, will be the largest for sure in the Southeast and certainly one of the largest in the U.S. And then December timeframe, 149 megawatts, the 274.5 large-scale solar projects are planned to be completed in the December timeframe. So certainly a lot of exciting projects coming up in 24 as we continue to work the plan while continuing to manage affordability, resiliency, reliability, as well as sustainability. We do want to acknowledge Sierra Club, and we appreciate the grade that we received and for the report that they've certainly done. And that's my update for today. I have no further updates.
Thank you. Guys, that puts us at the end. Commissioner comments for the meeting. Start over here.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, I'd just like to congratulate all the anniversaries recipients we saw today. It's always always enjoy those stories and seeing proud family members attending as well. Would also, again, just like to express my appreciation for the 3 candidates that put their names forward, Linda Gonzalez, Margaret Lascano, and Christina Pinto, for consideration. That's volunteerism too. They all are very active in the community. To put your name up for something you might not get is not always the easiest thing to do. So I appreciate their long history of volunteerism and active participation in their city. So I just wanted to make sure that I acknowledged all 3 names and appreciate them putting their names forward. Thank you.
Thank you for that. It's great. Commissioner?
I echo Roger's comments about the volunteerism. I think that's awesome to have so many of our employees participating at the levels in which they do. Also want to commend all of the presenters that we had. Today was a really, really good meeting from that standpoint. Particularly, I want to emphasize the Data Analytical Foundation project. That sort of reaffirms to me our commitment for strategic planning. I mean, that always, I'm amazed at how forward-thinking you guys are. The budget, the stuff we saw in finance, and the projects that are coming up. And then, Clint, even your general manager comments at the end were focused more towards strategy and next year implementation. So, hey, guys, keep your eyes on that. We're right on track there. And beyond that, thought it was a good meeting.
Thank you for that.
And I switched the order because I didn't want to get emotional listening to.
Okay, get ready. Get the
Still
hanky
got,
ready.
still got a couple meetings, a couple more.
All right.
You know, I've been the first batter, I don't know for how long. So the last batter. No, a couple of comments, and one is the employee awards, and, always love our, human assets, and almost a century, just 3 individuals, almost a century. So that's incredible. The recognition of customer service, like I said, and I've said this before, when I, came back to Orlando after the Marine Corps in 68, and I had to start paying my electricity before I was in high school. So, like I said, the service was fantastic, and it's still that service there, and it's being recognized. So, like I said, that's outstanding that this great utility continues to take care of our customers. And as always, a good meeting. That's all.
Thank you. There's not much to add here. Number one, thanks for the really rapid meeting today. That was actually once in a while. It's really nice. From volunteerism to the customer satisfaction for the businesses, what a relationship that the high scores there, and then the environmental stuff that we're doing. So exciting to be here. I think I want a slide of the customer satisfaction award. I want to just sort of tout that out there to all the other utilities I bump into. But thank you all very much for the meeting today. I think that's all I've got as well. And without objection, the meeting's adjourned at 3:03 p.m. Thank you, guys.